Hello guys. Welcome to our second step lesson 8, responding with compassion. So last lesson we talked about disagreeing respectfully, and for this lesson we are going to learn about responding with compassion, which is one of my favorite things. So over the next several weeks we're going to be learning and practicing our skills and managing our emotions and solving problems. Okay, so what do you think compassion means? When I think of the word compassion, I think of just being kind, being caring, being loving, really being there for someone. That's what I think about. In several second step lessons, we've talked about empathy, and remember what empathy means? We're going to look at the poster real quick. So empathy means feeling or understanding what someone else is feeling, looking at their face and body for clues. What's their point of view? How do they feel? How can you help? And what's a kind thing to say? And remember, compassion is empathy in action. Okay? So, having empathy helps you show compassion for someone else. You must first notice how others are feeling, and then you can feel or understand someone else's feelings. Think about what you should do once you've noticed someone is feeling bad or sad, and you understand how it feels to be in their shoes. Okay? So I just want you guys to think about it. Like, you can do something nice to make someone feel better. You can say something kind. You can always do something helpful, and you can show compassion. Okay? All right, so we just went over that. So now we're going to start with a game using the Walk, Walk, Walk video. When I play the Walk, Walk, Walk song, we're going to listen with attention for words or phrases about caring or compassion.
I bet you have strong feelings coming from within. Hard to see another's point of view when you're in your own skin. Changing your perspective, thinking through your stuff. Empathy's not easy when the going gets rough. You know that it may be hard to think it through. Other people feeling different because they're not you. You gotta walk, walk, walk. Walk in their shoes. Take a look and see what they're seeing. Walk, walk, walk. Walk in their shoes. Try to understand what it would feel like to be them. You gotta walk, walk, walk. Walk in their shoes. Sympathy is what we're saying. Recognize those feelings. You felt them too. That's empathy. You see she's getting angry. You feel that feeling too. And there is jealous, scared, strong emotions through and through. Empathy's the pathway to recognize and walk, so you can dish out some compassion and really walk the talk. People showing strong feelings, what do? Show them that you get it. Treat them with kindness, through and through. You gotta walk, walk, walk. Walk in their shoes. Take a look, see what they're seeing. Walk, walk, walk. Walk in their shoes. Try to understand what it would feel like to be them. You gotta walk, walk, walk. Walk in their shoes. Empathy is what we're saying. Recognize those feelings and reach out to, empathy.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that right there. So the phrases that about caring and compassion made me think of like reach out, you felt those feelings too, show kindness, and them saying that's empathy. All the things that were action oriented made me think of compassion. All right, so now we're going to be ready for the videos. Okay, so before I start the video, I'm going to tell you today we're going to see another story about Miguel and Caden. Remember last time Miguel and Caden got to be friends after they realized that they had more in common than they originally thought. Watch carefully to see if you notice who could use a little compassion. Okay, so we're going to play the video.
My friend Miguel hasn't lived here for very long. He's from Mexico. The other day when we were working on our essays, Miss Rosen came over and pointed out a lot of mistakes on Miguel's paper. He has a hard time learning English.
Miguel, it looks like you've used the word chicken here, when I think you meant to use the word kitchen.
Some of the other kids overheard and started laughing at him. He looked really upset. I know if that happened to me, I would have felt really embarrassed and frustrated. I've been getting to know Miguel better lately. He's really cool. I wanted to do something to help him feel better.
Okay, you guys. So, how do you think Miguel feels? He feels embarrassed, frustrated, angry. What did Caden try to do to understand how Miguel felt? He thought about what it would be like to be Miguel in that situation, and he noticed that Miguel looked upset. Why does Caden want to do something to help Miguel? Because Miguel is his friend, and because he had empathy for his friend, because when Miguel had an uncomfortable feeling, Caden also felt uncomfortable. So we're going to think about what Caden can say to Miguel to show he cares. And when you say something that shows you care about another person and his or her problems, you're showing compassion. Another way to show compassion is to do something for the other person. Think about what Caden could do to show compassion for Miguel. Okay? So we're going to watch the video and see the next video and see what Caden does.
First, I asked the kids who were laughing at him how well they thought they could write an essay in Spanish. Then I leaned over and told Miguel I was finished with my essay, and I could help him with his. He seemed glad to have help with his essay, and glad to have a friend that'd stick up for him.
Alrighty, so how do you think Miguel felt when Caden showed him compassion? He felt glad, like someone cared, relieved, and grateful. How do you think it made Caden feel to show Miguel compassion? Good, proud, happy, like he did the right thing? What could Miguel say to Caden to let him know he appreciates his help? Thanks, I appreciate your help. Think about the following questions. Have you ever shown compassion for someone else? How did it feel? How did the other person feel? So if you want to take a moment to turn and tell your partner your ideas, you sure can. I know that it feels so good when people show me compassion. I have my best friend, her name is Stephanie, and she is so good at compassion. Like, she's right there with me whenever I'm struggling with something, and she just is able to empathize and talk me through things and be right there as if she were me. And I always try to do the same for her, and I learn a lot from her when she's able to do that. Okay, y'all, we're going to go to the next part of the lesson in just a second. All right, so here's an activity you can try. Everyone's capable of showing compassion, and now you're going to practice thinking of ways to show, to do this using scenarios. So we're going to go ahead and practice the scenarios, and you guys can pause this here and follow the directions, but we're going to move forward and we're just going to do it on here. Okay, so here's a compassion activity. So here, this is just going to be some examples of things that you can do, all right? So it's lunchtime and a girl in your class goes to her backpack to get her lunch but realizes she left it at home. She's very upset. What is one compassionate thing you could say, and what's one compassionate thing you could do? So, I'm thinking that we could say to her, I'm so sorry you forgot your lunch. You must be really worried about where you're going to get your food. Let's see if we can get you a tray from the cafeteria. So give me a thumbs up if you think that would be a good idea. So I think sometimes too, if you're trying to solve the problem, too fast or too soon when somebody's upset, sometimes that can backfire because we just want someone to listen sometimes when we're upset. But in this case, when somebody doesn't have their lunch, that is a really big issue because we want people to be safe and healthy at school. So it's important to solve that problem. So I would say something to get her to understand you know how she feels and then solve the problem, right? And make sure it's appropriate too. So freeze tag. You're playing freeze tag at recess and the person chasing you trips and skins both knees. You don't want to stop playing, but you can see the other person is hurt and embarrassed. What is one compassionate thing you could say, and what's one compassionate thing you could do? Okay, so if somebody is tripping, you could say, whoa, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Are you okay? And then a compassionate thing you could do is offer to help them, right? Offer to help them get to the nurse. So if you guys can see there's a pattern here, you're saying that you understand how that person feels and your action or what you're doing is helping. Okay? So, and then here we go. The playground teacher. The playground teacher yells at your friend for something he didn't do. He tries to stand up for himself, but the teacher won't listen. This is a tough one, especially since it involves a teacher. Your friend is frustrated and angry. What's one compassionate thing you could say, and what's one compassionate thing you could do? So you could say to your friend, you could help your friend calm down. Hey, I know you're really angry right now and you're frustrated. Let's be calm. And then I could help you talk to the teacher and see if there's something that we could say, right? So I feel like that would be a good choice. I can tell y'all a funny story, an embarrassing story about me where there was lots of compassion and lots of embarrassment, and that's fine. So, I told this story to a 3rd grade class the other day at lunch because we were telling embarrassing stories. But I was coming back home on an airplane from visiting my aunt in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And the plane was late to the gate and I had to get on a connecting flight to get back to Austin. And I had 15 minutes to get off the plane, run, which you should never do. Don't run in the airport. But run to the gate, to the airport, and not the airport, to the gate in the airport to get on my flight to get back to Austin. And me and my best friend Katie were with me, or she was with me, yeah. And it was so funny because we were like, okay, we have 15 minutes, we can run, we can do this. And I got my carry-on bag and I was running, got on the little shuttle, got off the shuttle. When I got off the shuttle, I was running. I fell and I hit my knees. I have pictures of bruises. I hit my knees when I fell and everybody was like, oh, that was their reaction. All the people around me were like, ooh, because I fell so hard, which, yeah, that was a little embarrassing. But there was a man that came over, picked up my bag. A woman came over and was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then, and this was really cool. I got to the gate, which if you've ever taken a flight, the gate's where you like congregate before you get on your flight. And I just missed it. I missed the flight. And the lady at the stand that was on her computer was like, I'm so sorry you fell. Let me get you another ticket and you can get on the next flight to Austin. So that was so helpful and amazing. So don't be afraid to embarrass yourself. It happens. And it's so wonderful when people are around you to make you feel better. And I'm sure you guys have an embarrassing story too, but oh my goodness, that was just crazy. Okay, so now we're going to wrap this up. So what can make it difficult to show compassion? You might feel shy. You might not know what to say or do. You might feel embarrassed or awkward. Remember and use your assertiveness skills to help you in these situations. Why is it important to be able to show compassion? It's the right thing to do. It makes people feel better. It makes you feel good. Think about one time when you could show compassion to someone here at school. So you can turn and tell your partners your ideas, or you could just think about them. So today you learned and practiced showing compassion, and showing compassion is an important part of empathy. It's a respectful way to respond when you've noticed or understood how someone else is feeling. Okay, so This is a book of compassion by Susan Verde and Peter H. Reynolds. I love this book. I am not going to play it for you. I'm going to let you decide, or your teacher decide if they want to play, and I'm going to pause the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Remember to show compassion to others. All right, see you next time.